Hi, and welcome to Tea and Talking. My name is Amy.
My name is Kelly.
And today we're going to be discussing pretty much Chinese folklore and stories, just urban legends we've come across the way. But we're going to hold off on urban legends for a different video. And just today we're going to stick to folklore.
Okay, before we start, what do we have in front of us? We have hojicha.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, no, you introduce it.
Oh, okay. Well, today we're going to be having hojicha, which is a Japanese green tea.
Roasted.
Yes, roasted. It's different than sencha. So for those who like sencha tea, it's similar to that, where it is roasted, but it's a different type. And then we're also going to be having pawpaw fruit, which is actually right from my backyard.
Yeah, it is.
So we both love this fruit, so it works out for us.
I just had it for the first time in my life today, but yeah, we both love it.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, that's right. You did have it today. I was going to say I've had it for a while now.
No, we both love it though.
Okay, so while I'm making the tea and hosting for us, Kelly, how about you go ahead and discuss your first story that you want to share?
Okay, so with Chinese folklore, we're going to be doing a kind of like scary Chinese folklore. It's not like the traditional good luck. It's not the red robe tea story. Those are going to be for later. This time it's all scary stories from ancient China. And a lot of these traditions, a lot of these stories, they influence the current traditions we have to this day. So the first one, it's going to be the broadest one. That's talking about the Chinese Inferno. So in Dante's Inferno, we have, they introduced 9 layers of hell in Dante's Inferno. In China, there's 18.
Yeah, that is a lot.
18.
When you first told me that there was 18, because I know how in some schools, reading Dante's Inferno was mandated, or at least not the entire book, because I know it's really long. But yeah, when I heard that there was 8, and then in China they have, 18? Wait, how much?
18.
Yeah, 18? Yeah, that's a bit much for me.
Yeah, that's a lot of ways to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to go through all 18 layers, but I'm going to go through some of the more interesting ones. So the ones I picked are... the first one's the funniest one, in my opinion. The chamber of ripping out your tongue. So what happens is, if you gossip too much to the point where it's like of detriment to your neighbors, your family, or to others, essentially, you're gonna get your tongue ripped out. Like, they strap you onto this apparatus, and then like one of those demons will carry you, and then your tongue just gets like, ugh.
That's disgusting.
And that's why people don't like it when you gossip, and they say like, hey, if you gossip, this is what's gonna happen to you. And
so what you're essentially saying is for all those people that want to talk some game. So all those comments we might see, hopefully they're all good.
Oh my god. But yeah, in Dante, I remember with Dante's Inferno, it's a lot more like poetic, if you will. A lot of the circles of hell, it's more like, it's more complicated, it's more nuanced. In China, the Chinese folklore, it's more straightforward. It's like, okay, you talk some smack, you're gonna get your tongue pulled out. You know, if you break up someone's marriage, you can get your fingers cut off with a pair of scissors. And also, if you bully animals, you go into the circle of hell where you are bullied by animals. So
right, and so from my understanding, because I've never read Dante's Inferno or anything like that, but it's like, it's in layers, right? So like one floor is one thing, another floor is another, right? So that's how it is with Chinese folklore. It's like,
most definitely, yeah. The people that do like smaller crimes, like gossip, they're gonna be in a different circle than somebody that's like mean to animals. Those are gonna be completely different circles for completely different crimes. And there's one that's really interesting. So the one, it's called the mirror, like it's called the mirror circle. So if you get away with the crime, like for example, you do something really bad, something really mean, and you've gotten away with it, and nobody caught you.
Yeah, I was gonna say you weren't caught. Okay.
So you died getting away with it. So you're gonna be sent to that layer where they show your reflection for who you really are.
Oh, wow, that's really dark.
And I think
interesting.
I don't think that's all that happens, but that's like the general feeling of it. And some of them are just really straightforward, like those that don't respect others will find themselves soaked in blood.
Okay.
There's also a really funny one where if you exploit a loophole in the law, or if you do something if you like cheat people by exploiting a loophole, you get sawn in half.
Which is horrible.
Oh yeah. But the whole point of having the Inferno, because with Dante it's a little different. You're just kind of suffering forever. You're being tortured
Right.
and over and over and over. In the Chinese Inferno, you are essentially tortured until unfortunately you die, and then you're gonna come back, and then it's gonna happen over and over and over. But there is an end to it, because when you repent and you understand fully
Mhm.
what you did wrong, you repent for it fully, you get reincarnated into the next
Right.
life. According to their beliefs, yeah, back in the ancient times.
Okay. I think it was the Qing dynasty. I can't say words. I'm so sorry. I don't want to butcher any words in Mandarin.
No, I'll do the same, don't worry. Yeah, but that's the whole purpose. I like this kind of idea because it gives you a chance to understand what you did was wrong. I mean,
to learn from it, right?
Yeah, some of the things they do to you is a little ooh. I mean, I can't relate to any of those, like any of the severe crimes. So it's not like I'm gonna worry about that, but it's kind of like, wow, you have to suffer this over and over
Right.
until you understand what you did was wrong. And then you'll have a chance to live your life.
You know what's
again.
scary? It reminds me of those people that are really not self-aware of their own actions. So it's like, if you're in that situation, like if those types of people are in this situation where they're just in this constant hell, they're just, like what would happen because they're just in this constant denial. They're just in a loop like that. That worries me, because it's not like someone's trying to, no one's going to sit there in hell and act as a psychologist. Like, hey, do you realize what you did? No, like you're just gonna go through this hell. I mean, I'm sure it has some sort of teaching though that they have naturally.
What if one of the demons, like as they're sawing you in half, they're telling you, you are being sawed in half because you exploited a loophole in the law. You are being sawed in half. I don't think you can
listen to anything that's happening because you'd be in so much like, oh my goodness, this is horrible. I don't even want to talk about this. Ugh. That is too scary to me. Oh my goodness.
If we're exploiting, but like what kind of loopholes? Like loopholes in terms of like tax evasion, or loopholes in terms of...
and the fact that like laws are changing every day, like you know what I mean? Like one day it'll be illegal to do this, and the next thing it is legal, or vice versa. It's legal to do this, and then it's illegal.
Or you're willingly participating in something, but it's not like that bad. Like a loophole, as in you go to Carvel, you get like 1 million samples, and you buy nothing.
Yeah, right.
You're exploiting Carvel.
That's a good.
Do you deserve to be sawn in half for asking for too many samples?
It's like when you go to Krispy Kreme and the red light's on and you get all these free donuts and you buy nothing. Is that bad?
Is that like saw in half worthy of a loophole?
I don't know. I'm sorry, okay. Anyways, you good with that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So then I will get on to mine. Mine is not as great as that. Like, you definitely have good ones. This one was kind of hard for me trying to find Chinese folklore because I myself, I'm obviously not Chinese. So for me trying to find that, it was real difficult. But I did find a few interesting ones. So my first one is Gan Bao, if I'm saying that right. I had to write it down, y'all, because I can't say it. But anyways,
I can't even tell you how to say it because there's no accent mark.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what words they are. And if it's a name, there's no way.
I'm not good at this.
No, neither am I, dude.
I didn't even know there were accents though.
Actually, especially if it were a name, no Chinese person would be able to tell you how to say it. Unless you have an accent mark.
Hey, I'm not that far off, so Gan Bao. Maybe we could put it on the captions below.
I'll put the characters. How about that?
There we go. And someone can help say it for us, or like do the little, small little pronunciations for us.
Yeah. Won't be me.
Or diction, yeah. It won't be me. It won't be me either. So anyways, Gan Bao was actually an author who was inspired to write a book called Strange Stories of Supernatural or of the Supernatural. And that's how it is translated in English, so I might be saying it wrong as well. That's just how we were able to translate it. And anyways, he was inspired to write this book because he actually saw something firsthand. This is an actual author who saw something firsthand, and that was when his father passed away, his mother had assumed that his father had an affair with the maid. So when his father passed away, she buried the father with the maid and buried her alive for 10 years. And back then, it was quite the norm to unbury their dead so that they had this time with their actual physical body to reach heaven or wherever they would go. And then they would take the physical body and burn it so that their physical body was now officially gone from forever, if you will. And so when they unburied his father's body after 10 years, they found out that the maid was still alive.
After 10 years.
Yeah, after 10 years of being buried alive. And the maid had said that it was because a ghost continuously gave her food and water. And she believed that the ghost was actually the husband, like Gan Bao's father. And he continuously told her the reason why he was helping her is because it was, if you will, repentance for something evil that his wife had done, because they did not have an affair and she was innocent, and he, wanted to help her and keep her alive. So ever since then, Gan Bao, the son, started looking and researching all these supernatural things that were happening in China, and eventually wrote a book about it. And I think he has over hundreds of entries of these different creatures. It's actually very interesting.
That's really cool. He must be a really major person in the supernatural community.
Right.
Like how in America, a lot of times, like these people that have those ghost hunting shows, they always...
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it always comes from like a personal experience.
He must be like one of the earliest like Chinese supernatural historians. I don't even know what you would call them. I'm sorry if someone can name it below. I know they have a special title. But yeah, he went through all of this. So if it wasn't for him, I don't think China would actually have all this culture behind, or all these understandings of these mythical beings. He actually talks about a lot of Chinese mythical creatures too. But I know how there's other authors and historians out there that mention it too. So he's not the only one, but I'm sure he's definitely important in that realm too.
If you were in his shoes and if you saw that happen, like right in front of you, what would you think?
I actually would not know. I mean, I'm thinking about it right now, and like, for me, I believe in God. I'm a Christian, so that would be quite the miracle from God if that happened. I would not know how to react.
I would question. I would be like, oh my God, did she get buried in like a bunker or something? Or what happened?
Yeah,
it was just like a hole in the ground for 10 years.
I would not know, because at the same time, like, I believe in science, like, just as much, because, for me, God created science, but... So I would actually find like a scientific way of like how she, because don't get me wrong, like I believe in the power of prayer, but I also understand that God gave us medicine. So I kind of want to understand like, how is she able to stay alive?
Yeah. And like, I mean, I don't want to make this dark by anything, but like after 10 years, wouldn't you kind of lose the will to live?
Yeah.
If you were just like this for 10 years.
I don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how would you stay alive? Like, I don't know. Because like I said, although I say that like this story is real, it may not necessarily mean that it's true per se. I know that might sound confusing. Yeah. It may be embellished.
100%.
You know what? So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's been told throughout history. Well, I mean, like the story of this author. If you look up his name, you'll be able to find it. But at the same time, you don't know. They really might be embellished. I don't know. I don't really know how true this is. Like, maybe he saw something and the story just got wilder and wilder and wilder and turned into this.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah,
that kind of thing happens
throughout our culture. It does.
So, okay, if we're gonna swing back over to my Chinese Inferno story, so the next one, it actually has it's in the same like kind of category, if you will. It still has something to do with the Chinese Inferno. So before you go back to Earth, after you repented for all your sins and all your loopholes and all of your bad actions, you get a chance to be reincarnated and to live a new life. But before you do that, you need to forget about all the trauma and all the horrors to give you a clean slate. You just gotta let all of that go. Right. So what she'll do is she'll make you something called the 5-flavored tea of forgetfulness.
That's perfect because we're drinking tea and it's amazing.
Exactly.
And what if we're drinking the tea and we don't even know?
No, I remember this. This is really yummy. Like, I'm not going to forget this.
Fujicha's tastes so good, it's not forgetful.
It's not. It's not. But the 5-flavored tea of forgetfulness, what are the 5 flavors? Nobody knows. You forget it. You completely forget it. And
I'm trying to like make up flavors in my head. I know, what those 5 like what would those flavors be? Like,
yeah. What are the most forgettable flavors?
I wasn't even thinking that. Like,
they're probably gonna like serve you like a really bland scone with it and be like, okay, come on, you're gonna forget.
You went in a
everything.
total opposite direction. And yours is way funnier because in my head I'm like thinking of properties that will actually give you like amnesia or something like that. I'm thinking of all the drugs I know that gives you side effects of like memory loss, and you're over here like, what's the most bland flavor?
Yeah, so after you drink that tea, you forget everything that happened to you in the I guess you forget all of your sins, you forget your punishment, and you just start completely brand new. So you get a brand new chance. And the thing is, people say that there's this phenomena of newborns being born with like different memories from the past life, knowing how to talk before they're supposed to, and essentially like they know more than they should. And that's an indicator that they didn't forget their past life, which means they didn't drink their tea.
Yeah, that's why make sure to drink your tea, folks. Mm-hmm. It's important to forget.
Sometimes it's important to forget.
Yeah, but I don't know if my eyebrows like did it work.
No, I see it. I see it go. Like I see it just jump.
Okay, I try, guys.
Amy,
I wish I could do the rock like the.
I want to do the Amelia Clark one, like because her eyebrows are really wild. She can do a lot of things with her eyebrows. Yeah. It's
kind of like when people move their ears. Okay, anyways,
I can't even do that. Oh. Okay,
so sidetracked right now.
Moving on, Amy, back to you.
Okay, so the second story is called The Painted Skin, and this is actually Chinese literature from a man called Song Ling Pu. Yeah, I think that worked out. Yeah. So he actually wrote a book. I forgot, I'm blanking out the title now, but he ended up writing a book, and it has over 104 entries of different Chinese literature that he created. It's like short stories, if you will. But one of them that came out to me, and it was a popular story, and a lot of people would know this, which is why I'm telling you guys the story, and they actually made a movie about it in China. It's called The Painted Skin. So they have this one demon or ghoul or ghost. It varies, honestly, depending on the story, because they use all three terms. And I think it's because in China, there's no clear way of saying any of like the ghost, all these things like ghost, ghoul, or anything like that. There's no clear translation to English, which is why they use all three in the story in the English translation. Anyways, so it's this ghoul that can actually change its body shape based on this painted type skin that they get from a portrait. So the story goes that this man named Wang ends up picking this girl on the side of the street and notices that she's broken down, she's wary, she's pretty much is lost. And so he offers the girl to come to his home because he has an extra spare bedroom. And so the girl agrees, and on the way there, she starts discussing about how she's from a domestic abuse type family. Her family clearly abused her and wanted to let her marry into what is it? It was like a premarital thing. I forgot what's called.
Arranged marriage?
Yeah, arranged marriage. I don't know why I was blanking that out, but yes, it's called an arranged marriage.
Because it's so unacceptable to me and you.
I know, right? We can't even bother to think about that. But yeah, she was put in arranged marriage with a man who was going to make it worse for her life and abuse her even further. So she ran away. And so that's when the man found her, obviously. Yeah. So this man had her in his home for a couple of days. And one day he went out into the market and said, and met a Taoist priest. And the Taoist priest had said, "Oh, you've been bewitched. I can tell right off the bat you've been bewitched." And the man swears up and down that nothing has changed in his life, and didn't want to mention the girl. And so he just brushed it off as if, like, this priest is just being crazy. And the priest kept on telling him, like, listen, you're being a fool. Like, you have to listen to my warning because death will follow you. And so the man comes home and he notices that his studio is completely locked shut. So he tries to peer through the window and he sees this really ugly ghoul painting over, it's like a slab of skin over a portrait. And quickly the ghoul puts on the skin and the man is obviously mortified. So he goes and tells his wife the situation with the girl and everything. And the wife was obviously like, her first thought was, you should have told me earlier about this girl.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, you shouldn't be hiding a girl in the household in the first place. But sad to say, the man ended up losing his life because the ghoul ends up eating his heart. And so the whole moral of the story is to never trust the beauty on the outside, but it's on the inside is what matters. It's a really good story.
It also reminds me low-key of catfishing.
Yeah, it really does. It's modern day catfishing. Like, could you? It's so sad. Just ghouls in general.
It's like after I finish putting on my makeup, I'm like, wow, I can go out into the world. And then when I come back home and I take my bath, and then I'm just like, hello, who is this?
How makeup changes us.
That's our painted skin. No, but we're still beautiful on the inside.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, we are.
Hopefully. I don't know.
More so than the outside.
I just really enjoyed that story because, by the way, I really shortened it. I think the entire story is about 12 pages long in the book. And so there's more detail. And believe it or not, the wife ends up saving his life in the end. But that's in volume 2. And I have yet to read volume 2 because I'm still waiting for the book to come in. So I'll tell you the rest of it another time. Mm-hmm. So anyways.
It's a good read.
Yeah, it is. And definitely read the book. I wish I could remember the name. I think it's just, I think it's stories in supernatural stories in a Chinese studio. I think that's what it was called. But it's definitely a good read. And there's all these fun little neat stories. But I definitely like the Painted Skin because, believe it or not, I don't think he created that story because if you look it up, there's so many other folklore regarding this ghoul. And like Kelly was discussing it to me before that, like when she was little, her grandmother used to tell her about animal spirits or like other ghost beings that would change skin.
Shape-shifting spirits are very common in Chinese folklore.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, I don't think he created the story, created the persona of this ghoul because it's always been run around. But I like how he put a moral to the story because oftentimes when you hear about these types of ghouls or monsters, there's no clear story. Like, there's no lesson to be learned or moral of the story, but he put one down.
But with this story, I feel like everyone can relate to this story. It's like, no, bro, no, she's bad for you, bro. No, I'm not gonna listen to you. You know? Yeah,
right. I know I'm sidetracking, but I actually had that conversation the other day. How your brain is smart and it'll tell you not to do things like, hey, don't date that like psycho, girl, or like don't date that really bad guy. But then your heart's like, oh, but she's so pretty, or oh, he's so handsome, I have to. And your heart's telling you one thing, but your brain is like, no, don't do it. That's what I'm saying. It goes along with that.
And your friends can see it too. Like, your friends can see it, but it's up to you whether you want to listen to good advice or not. So you guys don't want to get bewitched by a painted lady. You don't want to get catfished either.
You could also lose money that way, guys.
You can lose like your life savings.
Life savings.
She's running off with half your house.
That's awful, man.
Like, just like taking her skin with her, just like painting. Paint it on an easel. Like, who am I gonna trap next?
Oh gosh. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Let's move on to the third story for you. Because I'm gonna go too far with that one.
It gets too real.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's about to get really real. That's what I like about these stories because you can still relate to them sometimes. Yes. Hopefully.
But we're trying so hard to keep it PG-13. Like just a quick disclaimer. When we were first looking at these Chinese folklore, there were some that we found that were actually really gory and really spooky and scary. And as much as we would like to tell you that stories, we want to keep it PG-13 for our audience, especially enjoying this tea. And we're having just a nice, fun conversation. So let's keep it that way.
Exactly. It's supposed to be peaceful and zen and meditative.
Exactly, y'all.
But also, on a side note, anybody that really enjoyed Dante's Inferno, I think, like, I haven't read any of the Chinese Inferno stories yet, but I think it's a good read. Just reading about the Chinese version of it, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever heard of it. It wasn't until you told me about the 18 floors. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I've never heard of that.
18 exciting layers of hell with very unique situations. Let me tell you that. We're trying to keep it PG-13, but like, very unique situations can happen to you if you like if you do something that's not moral.
Well, see, that's also a good moral of the story. Like, at least so far, the stories we've told, they at least have morals of the stories. Maybe not the Gan Bao one, like the author one, because that's just an inspiration to write a book. Still, man.
I like
actually, let me finish doing this real quick, because the lovely tea we have tastes so good, and I want some more.
Hojicha, you gotta brew it at a higher temperature, because the green tea, for green teas, you always gotta do a higher temperature.
And if you notice, in the beginning of when I first was making this tea, I actually did not steep it long at all, because green tea you don't want to steep for long. Do you want me to throw yours out so you have a fresh batch?
Yeah.
There you go. See, that's what you call a good host, y'all.
Give you a golf clap.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I would have told my story, but I'm not one to multitask. I'm not, like, same thing when it comes to texting. I can't talk and text. I don't know how people do it. I just have to focus on texting. I'm like,
People can't do it. They're just like...
Yeah, like, it's funny because I can multitask on other things, but for some reason, when it comes to reading or texting or just looking at words in general, I cannot focus. For some reason, it's so weird. I can watch TV and listen to someone and, like, I don't know, it's weird. So anyways, my final story is named Gu Pao. Gui Po. Oh, see, I messed up the first time.
I don't know. Some of them are really obvious, and some of them are just like completely no idea.
Right. Okay. Well, that one makes sense though. But it's translated to the old witch or something like that.
Like demon old woman or like monster old. No. Like old woman spirit.
There you go. Okay. Well, then that makes sense. So the Goi Po, right? Okay. The Goi Po is supposed to be a ghost of an old lady who's very, very friendly. However, this does have two ends. It could either be good or evil. So a Goi Po, back in the Qing Dynasty. Qing Dynasty. There we go, Qing Dynasty. Anyways, this person was formerly a maid or servant of a very rich or wealthy family. And so after this maid had passed away, they would come back to serve the family again by helping them out with certain tasks or I don't know, just little tidbits here and there. But the servant, the masters wouldn't know. It's kind of like, oh, I can't find my book. And then suddenly when, the master turns around, the book is there. And that's because the maid helped them. Or if they're trying to look for clothing or if their clothes aren't washed, the ghost would help and do this without the master knowing. So it's kind of like one of those, like just a handy helper in the house. So if the ghost if the master was mistreated in any way from somebody, like for example, if there's another wealthy family that mistreats them, then the ghost would actually bewitch the children of that other household and convince that child to murder the parents. Yeah, because what the ghost wanted to do was essentially ruin that family's blood ties. But seeing as though the child is innocent and has nothing to do with the situation, it's kind of weird because it's like, why would you have the kid dirty their hands and kill the parents, but want to keep their innocence? I don't know. That was very, very strange to me. But there's multiple variations with this old witch as well. There's so many variations, but I thought this one was the most interesting because this variation came up frequently about that. But I thought that was a good story to tell because I really want the good maidservant, the good one, not the bad evil one that's gonna like kill my family or someone else's family. I mean, it's nice to have that. Nice to know that someone has your back all the time, but not in that aspect. I don't want anybody to murder anybody either.
I would actually go as far as saying I just don't want it at all, good or bad. I just don't want it. Like if I wanted someone to pick up, I don't want you to pick up my things. Just please move on. Get away from me. Please don't haunt me.
Wait,
even if you're just picking up my umbrella, I'm gonna get really scared. So I just can't.
I don't know. They're like, in the terms of my like spiritual side, obviously I would want them to move on and pass and like go to heaven and be happy and be with their loved ones. Yeah. I don't want them to stay on earth and linger with me. However, if they are going to linger on earth because of some other reason and not me, And like they just wanted to help me out. Like, cool.
Yeah, make me
if
a
I
cup of
can't,
tea.
yeah, like if I can't find my
While you're
keys,
here.
if I'm rushing and I can't find my keys, or if I'm like trying to find one pair of shoe and I can't find the other, you know, something like that, or like finding
That
the
happens
socks.
to you?
Oh my goodness, all the time, because I'll put my shoes down. I swear, I don't even know how this happens, but my mom will actually move my shoes somewhere. It's crazy and annoying. And then I can't find the same matching pair of socks. Like everyone has that situation where after they wash their clothes and they can't find their other pair of socks. It's like,
Yeah.
we wash the clothes together. Like I don't know how I can't find my other like pink sock. Where are you? My other pink sock. But still, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't mind this.
Went to a different dimension.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine if the spirit was evil and they just steal one sock per pair at a time until you lose every single pair of socks and they just become singles.
You know, at that point, I'm just wearing unmatching socks. I already do sometimes anyways if I'm in a rush. The only thing that stinks is that when I'm wearing, what's it called? Like ankle socks. Not the like below ankle. I'm talking about like, actually it's like shin. I don't know. All these
Ankle socks.
all these names for different sock sizes. Oh, I can never understand it.
You feel some type of way about socks. Now the spirit's
do.
gonna know how to mess with you. They're just gonna take your socks.
I don't even know why I'm having this conversation now. Guys, I'm lost. Anyways. Are we done here?
Are we?
Oh
Did you
yeah, I
finish
guess
your
so.
fruit?
I didn't. I'm trying.
I'm like a Chinese mom. Like, did you finish your fruit? You didn't? Then we're not done.
Well, I'll finish this after the video ends. So y'all, I'm gonna have to let you go because I really want to finish this. And
This is so
I
yummy.
spoke too much.
No,
You guys,
you're
you
good.
guys have to teach me to stop talking. I'm gonna be like my mom, typical Puerto Rican mom who just doesn't stop talking and talking and talking and talking. Talk. Anyways, all right. So
Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for having tea with us, and thank you,
Mhm.
Amy, for hosting.
Oh no,
It's delicious.
Thank you for having our tea. Oh, I haven't finished. See, I need to finish my tea and I need to finish my food. So yeah, I'm gonna let you go because I'm hungry and I'm thirsty. I'm gonna enjoy this stuff.
So happy
yeah.
Halloween, guys. We're gonna be doing this series. We're gonna be doing these scary
Mhm.
stories as a series. So hopefully you guys can join
Mhm.
at a later time and just have tea with us all through
Oh,
Halloween.
absolutely. Hopefully, as it get closer to Halloween, maybe we'll start live streaming at this point where you guys can actually join us, which that would be so much fun. And then maybe you guys can share us your stories because I'm sure there's plenty of horror stories to go around.
Mhm.
Thanks for joining us. Bye now.
Bye.